All right, welcome to our lunch workshop on study skills, how to be more efficient with study skills. That begins with time management. So the title of our workshop today is Time Management Skills to Help You Study Effectively. How do you manage your time? So if you go to this website, it will give you an assessment. You'll answer some questions on a quiz, and it'll tell you how good you are already at managing your time. You might want to do this and then come back and look at this on our YouTube channel so that you see maybe you don't have a lot more to go as far as how well you manage your time, or maybe you need more help than you thought. What is time management? Time management skills help you to use your time efficiently so that you can spend as much time as possible doing the things you enjoy. In this presentation, we will look at 8 ways to help manage your time effectively from the College Board website. The first is to make a to-do list. This is a really important habit to get into. If you haven't already started doing this since middle school, you probably want to start doing this immediately. Put the most important tasks at the top, even if they're things you're dreading, and tackle them first. Include things you want to do on your list too, so you have items you're looking forward to. Try motivating yourself with a reward if you get to everything on your list. So I do this all of the time. You'll find that things that are very important, high priority things that you're dreading, putting them at the top of the list and tackling them is a lot easier than continually shrugging them off because you spend more time worrying and trying to decompress from the stress you're creating so that your time management is actually getting worse rather than if you just went and tackled the task. What you can do for those tasks that you're dreading is motivate yourself. So I will say that if I finish something really, really lengthy and maybe data entry intensive, things that I don't really care to do, if I finish that, then I'll go get myself a cup of coffee. If I'm cleaning things out, like spring cleaning at my home, if I say, okay, get it, the closet's done, and then you can go get something for lunch somewhere. And if I don't get it done, then I have to just go make a sandwich downstairs. So prioritizing your list and then scheduling in rewards for yourself to getting things done is a really effective way of being more productive. Keep your work with you. So if you take the light rail when we're in school, if you take the light rail to school, if you're going to wait at a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment or something like that, have a folder with you, or take your top 2 things that you really need to get done that day in a folio or a folder so that you can work on it while you're waiting. A lot of times that downtime where you're just sort of waiting can be frustrating anyways. So if you do something productive with that time, then you feel better about the waiting and you feel better about your to-do list. Now that everyone's on their phones as well, I know that you guys have access to your Google Drives from your phones, so you can even work on your phone while you're waiting instead of looking at social media or playing a game on your phone. And that will relieve stress later on, and you're not sitting there just waiting. Don't be afraid to say no. It's okay to say no if your friend asks you to go to a movie one night, but you have a test the next morning. Instead, find a time that works for both of you and go see the movie then. And I know this feeling. There's a feeling where you're torn between doing something fun and taking care of what needs to be taken care of. And you can say, forget it, I'm going to go to the movie. I'm just going to have fun. And just like that, you feel free because you've decided against the more responsible thing. But keeping that in check, especially before you have a test or when you know there's a big project that you should be working on. Things like going to the movies with your friends should be kind of more reward centered, not the norm. It shouldn't be hanging out with your friends shouldn't be something that makes you feel irresponsible or something that makes you feel like you've chosen against your responsibilities. So friends should be positives and rewards are the positives. So maybe tell your friend, I have a test tomorrow morning. If I get an 80 or above on that test, we are going to see that movie. That's a better way of constructing your thoughts so that you are more productive. Find your productive time. Are you a morning person or a night person? You'll be more efficient if you work when you're at your best. So for me, I am very clearly not a morning person. And so I tailor my schedule to work later rather than earlier. I have colleagues who get up at 4 in the morning, no joke, and they are most productive when they feel like the whole rest of the world is just quiet. So everyone in their neighborhood is still asleep, their whole house is asleep, and they're awake at 4 in the morning, getting ready, and then working very, very productively because they feel like they're possibly the only person awake. So, framing that and getting yourself in your best mentality to work is important. Knowing yourself and when you are most productive and putting those bigger tasks at that time is important. I don't know anybody who schedules task time to do time during 3 to 4 in the afternoon. That is like an ultimate downtime for most people. And so it's usually a pretty slow going hour of the day. And you'll notice that you usually get out of school when we're in school at 3:18, specifically for that reason. Because after 3 o'clock, we are all usually a little bit toast. 5, create a dedicated study time. Set up a time devoted only to studying or homework. Shut off your phone and respond to calls or texts when your work is finished. Don't check email or surf the web, except when you need to for the work you're doing during this time either. So putting your phone away, I have to do that constantly. If I find myself doing some data entry work and I'm checking my phone over and over and over, even after a minute and a half, I'll check my phone. Not because I'm looking for who's texting or contacting me, but because I'm trying to avoid the work that I'm doing. So I will go across the room, put my phone on a charger, put my phone on a table, and then go back to the other side of the room to do my work. And usually that fixes that problem. Flipping my phone over so I can't see notifications, that does not work. I will just grab the phone if it's in arm's reach. So putting your phone off to the side somewhere where you can't immediately access it is important, and just telling yourself that this is my work time. Usually that productive time of day that you found, making that your study time, your work time, that is very helpful. And what this will do for you as you get older in your career is help you decide what needs to get done and when. If I didn't dedicate specific times of the day to specific tasks, I would constantly be troubleshooting. Like my job would be more triage than it would productive work. So I have to say from 9 to 10, I'm looking at credit recovery. From this time to this time, I'm answering emails and phone calls. From this time to this time, I have scheduled appointments. And then I can allow a certain amount of time, about an hour and a half, where it's troubleshooting. Anybody can walk in, anybody who has any issues, I'm right there and we'll go over it. But if I don't put time aside for specific tasks that need to get done, then I will be troubleshooting all day long. And so setting this aside now for studying will help you in your career later on because you will know how to prioritize and dedicate your time. Budget your time. Figure out how much time you usually spend on your activities and then create a weekly schedule to follow. Determine how much free time you have before you add any commitments. And don't forget to schedule time to relax. So in this day and age, especially when we're stuck at home so often, it really is important to budget your time. I kind of try to compare the stay in place in the pandemic to like those 30 days of light in Alaska, where you can't rely on the sun to tell you when it's time to go to sleep. So you have to just tell yourself what you should be doing at different parts of the day because it's the same daylight all day long. So when we're at home, it feels like it's the same vibe, the same feelings all day long, but you have to schedule your time to create those rhythms you're used to, that usually happen when you leave your house. So that traveling to school and then leaving school, those don't happen anymore. So determining how much free time you have and scheduling time to relax, it sounds ridiculous at this point, but you actually have to do it. And budgeting your time is a lot like budgeting your money. What has to be done is similar to what has to be paid. And whatever you have left over, you use for recreation, leisure, relaxation, all of that. Don't get sidetracked. If you find yourself wasting time on unimportant things, stop, check your to-do list, and get back to what's at the top. Maybe you're procrastinating because you're not sure how to move forward on a project. If that's the problem, check with your teacher, clear things up so you can get moving. Anytime you've created a schedule and you don't stick to that schedule, it's important to reflect why. You need to ask yourself why. So you say, okay, I've found my optimal time of the day. I've scheduled time to do that. And I'm still checking social media when I should be doing my project. Why am I not doing what I should be doing right now? And that's what we call self reflection. It's extraordinarily important as you move through life to self reflect often and ask yourself why you're not doing what you should be doing. And there are answers to that. And those answers aren't always right or wrong, they're just where you are in that space. And the most important thing you can ask yourself is, how do I fix this? How do I get help for this? And you'll find that most of your teachers, your counselors, several other people at the school are here to help. We have tutors after school if you don't want to talk to the teacher. Tutors are in assets on Zoom at 3 o'clock pretty much every day of the week. So you need to ask yourself, what's stopping me? Why am I so distracted right now? Why am I not doing what I need to do? And that's a habit that if you can get into the rhythm of doing, that's a habit that will help you through all life. What am I trying to avoid? Why am I telling this friend maybe next week, maybe this next month? Why am I procrastinating doing this project at work? Why am I procrastinating buying a house? It'll keep on going if you don't have time to stop and self-reflect. And so it's very important to use school as a way to practice that and just ask yourself, why am I not doing what I need to do? I've dedicated this time, I've made a schedule, and now I'm not following it. What's wrong here? And then making changes as you need to make changes. And lastly, getting a good night's sleep. Your brain needs rest to perform at its peak. If it's time to sleep, list the things you still need to get done on the next day's to-do list and go to bed. A lot of times, creating that to-do list after dinner is something that just lets your mind let go. And then you have the rest of the night to wind down, relax, and go to sleep when you go to sleep. Um, so make sure you're sleeping. It doesn't have to be some set time that everyone tells you. I don't know a teenager that goes to bed at 9 p.m. But once you fall asleep, try to make sure that you have enough time to sleep for at least 6 to 7 hours. You should be getting 8 hours of sleep or more as a teenager, but 6 to 7 is what I agree with my own kids. How do I become better at time management? You need to change your bad habits. Habits are created and can be broken. These are not things that are embedded in you. These are not things that you cannot change. They're not built into the fibers of who you are, and it's never going to be fixed. Habits are created based upon you doing them over and over again because they give you some sort of benefit. Whether that benefit is productive for you or destructive is a different story. Okay. Making the same change daily for a few weeks will make the change a habit. So if you start waking up at 7 a.m. instead of 8 a.m., if you keep doing that over a few weeks, you won't even miss the 8 a.m. It'll just become regular. You must be able to look at what you do that takes away from your time and change those actions and choices. It isn't easy, but it can be done. So now I'm going to take you to a quick video about how to start that process of changing your habits. It's about a 4-minute video. Here we go.
Are you constantly finding yourself behind at work or school? Do you arrive at the end of the day and realize you've accomplished nothing on your to-do list? Well, odds are you're not very good at time management. And that is not doing your psychological health any favors. In fact, a study published in Work and Stress found that workers who didn't productively manage their time felt less in control of their lives. Here's the good news. You can get better. Paying attention to how you spend your time will help you manage it more effectively. And we're going to help you learn how to do just that. Today on Wellcast, we're going to get you in control of your day with our RACK method: recording, analyzing, and changing. 3 easy steps to great time management. Pause and print a copy of our handy Wellcast day planner. Finish printing? Let's dive in. Step 1, recording. When you wake up tomorrow, note the time in your day planner. As the day progresses, write down everything that you do. Yes, we mean everything. The 10 minutes you spent getting dressed, the half day of productive work, the hours you spent between social networking sites, we mean it all. Keep this up from the time you wake up until you go to sleep. Step 2, analyzing. At the end of the day, go through the schedule and highlight any chunks of time that you don't feel were used productively. Pick out your 5 biggest time wasters in your day. Be honest with yourself. You spent a half an hour by the coffee machine talking to your coworker. You spent an hour on Facebook, and you stared into space for 20 minutes. Come on, you get the picture. Especially focus on the time wasters at work. Why? A study published by the British Medical Journal says that workplace stress is minimized by effective time management. It also says that workplace stress bleeds over into home life and undermines a relaxed life at home. Here's the ugly part: add up all the time you wasted. How much productive time did you blow on activities that got you no results? Step 3: changing. Now it's time to come up with a way to get that time back. Here are 3 ways to change your time wasting habits and become a better time manager. Prioritize. To do lists are a really effective way to manage your time and your priorities. Limit the number of tasks you have on this list to 5 and assign rankings to them in order of importance. Declutter. Not only is decluttering great for your health, but you won't waste time digging around piles of stuff to find that one piece of paper that you really need. Check out our Wellcast on Clutter for some helpful tips on lightening your load. Schedule. Hey, we all try to kill 2 birds with one stone, but odds are multitasking will actually just stress you out and delay you even more. Instead, set aside blocks of time for individual activities. For each activity, set start and stop points. This way, your day is cleanly segmented. Then, stick to this schedule. Try going 1 week using these tips to reduce your wasted time. At the end of a week, go figure out where you've improved your time management skills and how much time you've saved. Let's recap. Today, you learned how to manage your time better by using our Wellcast Rack method. You recorded, analyzed, and hopefully changed how you use your time. And you did this by learning how to prioritize your most important tasks, declutter your workspace to save you time, and you learned how to build yourself an effective schedule to block out your day. Hey, how did Rack work for you? We want to hear how much time you were wasting and how much you're saving now. Tweet us at WatchWellcast.
Okay. So now that you've been given tools to help improve your time management practice, which will in turn help your study skills become more efficient, let's do some tests, see how you feel about these certain practices. Imagine that you have 5 days to complete a model bridge for physics class. You'll need to research bridges, design a bridge, buy materials, and build it. Using a piece of binder paper, write your schedule and to-do list for the week. So taking a giant project like this and breaking it down into smaller pieces, you see how that happens so quickly? The physics teacher says, complete a model bridge. You have 5 days. You write down, well, we have to research the bridge, I have to design the bridge, I have to buy the materials, and I have to build it. That's at least 4 days right there with just the tasks I have to do. So then you can start scheduling what days you're going to use to do which activities. You might want to research the bridges one day and then design the bridge and then make a list of materials, right? And then go buy the materials and then build it. That would be 5 days. You might want to do all of this within one day each. Research the bridge, design the bridge, buy materials, build it. And then on the fifth day, just make sure that it works. You know, you might want to add something in there to test it out. So breaking down these large projects into smaller tasks, writing down each task that you think you're going to have to do for the project, and then scheduling those tasks is very helpful. How about this bigger picture one? You're starting your first year out of high school. What obligations do you think you will have? How will you divide up your time to accomplish all your responsibilities and still leave room for fun? I have many students who leave high school ready to go with a full-time job and full-time college. A lot of students get full-time jobs in the summer and then think they're going to swing 12 units over at City College as well. That is very, very difficult to do. Students think that because their classes are online, that they can handle a full-time school schedule and a full-time job. It is an exceptional challenge, and your time has to be meticulously planned for you to be able to pull that off. You need time to study, you need time to write and do projects and connect with your classes and your professors. You need time for work, and not all of that comes together. The worst thing you can do is start trying to overlap those things, doing schoolwork at work when you don't think your boss is looking or you don't think you have enough to do at work. Working while you're trying to finish your projects at school. So maybe you took some work home with you because you do something like data entry or you do timesheets or something like that. The point is overlapping the two doesn't make you more efficient. It tends to make both situations lacking and you're stressed out that you're not giving your best to both. So thinking about this and deciding on what kind of plan you have for yourself is very important. Even as a full-time student without a job, it's very important for you to decide when you're going to take your classes, when you're going to have time to acclimate to college, when you're going to study. All right. That is the end of our lunch workshop on using your time more effectively and helping with your study skills to become more efficient. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or Miss Martinez in the College and Career Center. We're always here for you. We have tutoring, like I said, with our assets group at 3 p.m. That Zoom link is on our CKM website. Feel free to ask me for the Zoom link if you need it. And thank you so much for your time and for being here today.